You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options. Facebook.com/TheOptionsInsider or via questions at TheOptionsInsider.com.
Join us now for the expert source for inside information on the options markets. It's time for Options Insider Radio with your host, Mark Longo.
Two, one. Welcome back to Options Insider Radio, the interview program here on the old network where we welcome on guests from throughout the world of options and derivatives and proceed to pick their brains for the benefit of you, the listener. My name is Mark Longo from the OptionsInsider.com, as well as, of course, from the ever exciting, at least we hope so, Options Insider Radio Network. If I sound a little bit different, it's because I'm not coming to you from our studio in Chicago, but actually here in sunny Florida for the Options Industry Conference, where we're bringing a whole gaggle of great guests here for your enjoyment and indeed your edification here. And next up on the old network, we have a doubleheader, two-parter here. We have Nick LaMaina, the Senior Vice President of Product Management and Strategy, and Jeff Peters, the Senior Product Manager from TradeStation. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thanks a lot.
And Nick, I believe you've been on before, but Jeff, I know this is your first time, so why don't you go ahead and give us a little bit of an overview of your background in the space and what it is that a senior product manager does at TradeStation.
Sure. Yeah, I'd be happy to. I got started in the industry from a very young age. I watched my dad at night do his trading analysis, someone that had worked on Wall Street for a number of years. And so I started using professional trading software when I was about 12 or 13 years old, and that's when I fell in love with it. I traded, throughout my teenage years and in high school, and I ended up going to school down at University of Miami, moving from originally New Jersey. And from there, I found a great trading firm and started trading, day trading professionally. From there, I met TradeStation, who was a local firm to South Florida, and I started right after school. And it's been a great experience since. Now in my most recent role, I'm the Senior Product Manager for our options business. And that's really exciting because my job is basically to make sure that our clients have the best possible experience across the board, to make sure that their trading from TradeStation is the best it can possibly be, and as easy as it can be in a difficult options trading business sometimes.
It can be difficult, certainly. And speaking of that, it's been a while since we've caught up with you guys. So a lot has happened since the last time we've chatted with TradeStation. All of 2018 pretty much happened, which was an eventful time. So maybe catch us up. What's been going on in the world of TradeStation? What was 2018 like for you guys? Very topsy-turvy. We saw volatility come roaring back, then maybe come off again, then come back again, and all sorts of other fun things. What are some of the interesting highlights you guys have from since the last time we all chatted here on the network?
Well, definitely 2018 was a bit different than the prior years that we had seen. There was kind of stagnation in volatility and volume for several years in a row with a low interest rate environment. We saw interest rates come back. We saw some volatility peek its head into the market from time to time. And we also saw volumes increase from 2017 to 2018. I think volumes were up a little over 20%. So that was really good for the industry as a whole. We saw more liquidity, obviously, coming back into the marketplace, and that volatility created more trading opportunities for our customers, and really gave us a needed shot in the arm and a pat on the back that some of the things that we've been investing in our product and our brokerage services over the past few years really paid some dividends as we saw some new traders and new investors come into the space and really start to make some some positive progress on building wealth in their personal accounts.
Let's talk about some of those new investments you guys have been making, because obviously it's been a while. I mean, you guys have been investing and building up your options functionality. What are some of the new bells and whistles you guys have added to the platform since the last time we all gathered here together?
Sure. I think that there's really a number of them, and that's one of the things that we're really excited about. So in the past year or so, our focus has been making our options trading experience as easy to use as possible. There can be a lot of anxiety of trading options, and so our focus, both in the last year and also moving forward, is to remove that anxiety from the trading experience. And so some of the things that we've focused on have been, on our mobile on-the-go platforms. We know that, options trading started, a number of years ago now, and the people that had the ability to trade options were maybe floor brokers or market makers. Now, what we're finding is that people are trading options from anywhere, from the palm of their hand. And so a lot of our focus has been enhancing our web and mobile products. So some of the things that we've done are we've added new types of data to our options chain. Things like probability out of the money, in the money, break evens, all things that people are going to need at a glance to help them decide whether or not they should potentially enter an options contract trade. Other things too are a completely overhauled user interface on when people are managing their positions. When people have open orders and positions, that can be a time that could add stress, right? Their money is on the line, it's moving up and down. That needs to be something that gives them confidence. And so we overhauled how people manage their positions. They're able to close positions much easier. They're able to close, some legs of their options trades versus the whole position. And we've streamlined that quite a bit. That's been something that's important to us. Other things too on our web and mobile products, especially our mobile apps, is the ability to fund their accounts right from the palm of their hand. And so that's not directly related to options trading, but things like that are allowing people to be anywhere.
Taking Apple Pay into their TradeStation accounts. Is that the level we're getting to now, Jeff?
Google Pay? Things are moving in the direction of really easily moving money in and out of accounts. And so while it might not be Apple Pay, you are able to connect your bank account right to your TradeStation account and move money in and out. So that trend is only continuing and moving quick. On our desktop software, we have OptionStation Pro, and we've been investing in that area too. So things like making sure our risk graphs have an all new graphics package, so that those are much easier to use and are modernized, as well as things like adding beta weighted delta calculations, so that you can see how your portfolio is doing relative to SPY or the Qs or any stock. So exciting in those areas. We have a great offering for both professionals and that people that are sitting in front of their computer every day. But also too, what's really exciting is that I do most of my options trading with TradeStation from the palm of my hand from anywhere. And that offering is something that is increasing in its ease of use and the power too.
It's an interesting dance to watch a lot of brokerage firms try to navigate, which is, what functionality to bring to mobile. You want to make it a full-featured experience. You don't want to leave people on mobile feeling like they're left out, but you also don't want to overwhelm them. You can't show them this massive, time series chart on a little phone the same way you can look at on a desktop. So has that been a challenge for you guys, trying to figure out? Would you say the mobile is a pretty much a soup to nuts experience, or is it still kind of streamlined and focused to kind of be on the go, as opposed to obviously the OptionStation Pro?
Sure. I think that what we want in our mobile applications is something that is relatively streamlined. And what I mean by that is something that you still have the power that you can get on the desktop, but how you visualize that might be different. You want to be able to know all of the things that you would know with 4 monitors, but the way we present it to you might be very different because of the screen real estate. And so that's both a challenge and also an opportunity to differentiate. And that's something that we're moving towards as well. And so that's an important area of focus for us.
And the Pro software, do you have to have a certain account balance to utilize that, or is there a fee, or is that available to all users?
No, what's exciting there is that all of our software is available to all of our customers without needing to pay extra. And And this, you know, OptionStation Pro is no different. You get access to our desktop platform, web trading, and mobile, and you can choose to use all of them or one of them.
I'm also curious too, because I see firms like yours spend a lot of time and resources developing fantastic, UIs and interfaces and all these great things. And then you have the uber bleeding edge of the audience who just wants to tunnel in with an API, right? And they're not even going to see any of that stuff that you guys are working on. Is that a growing segment of your audience over there at TradeStation? And are you guys working to kind of facilitate that, or would you rather have them use the fully featured suite?
So from our perspective, I think what we've seen over the years is customer usage patterns have changed. Years ago, the customers that we had that were active traders and really wanted to invest the amount of time necessary to be successful trading, whether it be equities, options, or futures, what have you, they were perfectly content with having a very powerful workstation at home and working from home and like feeling very proud that they had a very established home office where they basically did this entrepreneurial type trading and managing their own money and building wealth that way. Those times have kind of changed. That's not the customer appetite that we're seeing with this new generation of customers, and even the older generation of customers as they evolve and see what technology and tools are out there. As Jeff was already alluding to, we see customers that want this power and want this ability to do things in the palm of their hand, and they aren't all wanting to log into a desktop to do it. But by the same token, there are people that have all different ways that they want to access our products. And that's why, yes, we do have the Windows-based product, which is our traditional flagship product. But then we also have our web-based application, our mobility-based applications for both iOS and Android. And then we have a very functional API if that's how you want to interact with us.
I know you guys were very much ahead of the curve when it comes to functionality and technology. I mean, you guys had an app store, I think even before maybe iOS had an app store. So you guys were very early on that adoption curve. Is that still an offering you have maybe for the uber high end of the clientele who wants to maybe design their own functionality? Is that still something they could do?
It is something they can do, and the App Store actually was born out of the thought that while we had these powerful tools that gave our individual customers the ability to develop their own easy language trading strategies and automate them and back test them, some of our customers didn't really want to do that, and they wanted someone else to do that for them. So the app trading store was a way for us to empower third parties as a marketplace to come in and bring their products and bring their creations in and allow our customers to pick and choose what pieces they wanted to add into their TradeStation. And it actually it helped us in many ways because as a software development company, in addition to being a broker-dealer, we have all sorts of customer requests that come in a variety of ways, just like we talked about. Some people want things added to our Windows platform. Some people want things added to our API. And realistically, we don't have the time and resources to satisfy all the requests of all the tens of thousands of features and customer-specific requests that come in, and it gave us a way for the community to help answer that call. And it may be interesting enough for a third party to come in and develop an additional trading tool to help a specific type of trader trade better or analyze the market in a slightly different way. And those things are available, many of them for free, without an extra cost through our App Store.
We're talking about all this sophisticated technology for this, very, very experienced, active kind of options trader. But the last time we had you guys on, I think you guys were just in the early stages of launching kind of a new, I guess you can call it a rebrand, a refocus on trying to broaden the tent a little bit, try to bring in more of the more basic retail guy who's coming in just a basic stock guy, and maybe he's, I want to try my hand at this TradeStation, and maybe they thought the platform was daunting. The choice was a little bit overwhelming for them. So now that it's a year and plus since then, how is that initiative unfolding, and are you seeing some interesting results?
Yeah, definitely. It was fairly recently that we've done, rebranding. We updated our pricing completely, and we have definitely started to see, a new generation of customer, start flooding into TradeStation, and we're really excited about that. And really, there are a lot of people that, love our desktop software, and that's what they're focused on. We have a lot of people that are mobile only. That will only trade using our mobility products. And then we have people that are using both. They're maybe doing their analysis on the desktop and, moving to mobile for their trading. And so we're still seeing a mix of customers, especially the new ones that come in that are still on all of our applications. But what we are seeing is a bigger focus of mobile-only customers, and so that's an area that we're watching closely.
Yeah, and to that, in addition to that, we're also really focusing a lot of our energy on options, and in that broadening of
Never heard of them. What are we talking
about? In the broadening of our appeal to customers. We've also really invested heavily in options and the tools specific to options traders. And a lot of that is evidenced by what we're seeing with the complexion of our customer base right now. Over half of the revenue that we're bringing into the firm is from customers that incorporate some sort of options strategy into their overall investing. That's a lot different for TradeStation than it was.
Primarily futures back in the day. That was a big base item.
Or just stocks even. So, and a lot of that is because, and I'm sure you can attest to this, we see it in our customer base. Customers that incorporate options into their trading strategies, they last longer as a customer. So there's value in us. It's a much better relationship. Obviously, why are they lasting longer? Probably because they're being more successful. Customers that don't last long, it's probably because they weren't successful and they get discouraged and they go back to putting their money into something else. So definitely investment in mobility as we see that behavioral change, and further and deepening our capabilities into options decision support and execution capabilities. You asked us about some of the things that have changed. I mean, MyX Emerald just came online just recently. We've added connectivity to them, just like all 16 options exchanges, plus algos that we have for options. So this is something that's quite a bit different than even 10 years ago with what we've seen. And the number of customers and their trading styles and the explosive growth that we're seeing in complex options trading, and the amount of that complex options trading even being done, the analysis and the trading itself being done on mobile is just amazing. But it's really reassuring in a sense that the things that we've done have really paid dividends, and we were really anticipating customer needs in many ways.
Well, it's certainly music to the ears of our audience. You guys are doubling down and investing in options. They certainly like to hear that. You mentioned the exchanges. We're obviously at an industry conference, so exchanges are top of mind for a lot of the people here. A lot of our guests come through from the exchange world at this conference, and obviously we're up to 16 now. It's an interesting, somewhat contentious topic here. That level of trading venue, shall we say? What are your thoughts on that as a retail-oriented platform? You mentioned just adding the connectivity. Have you reached the point where it's becoming onerous to you guys and to your clients as a result? Maybe it's time to rethink that level, or maybe do you think it's just this is kind of just business as usual in the space and it's not really having much of an impact on you guys?
So it's hard to say. I'd say sure. There are definitely added costs and added complications every time another exchange comes into the fold. Personally, what I would like to see is, if we are adding more exchanges, or even with the existing 16 exchanges that we have right now, if the differentiation between those exchanges was maybe more than just pricing schedules. If there was more functional, more innovation based on trying new ways to manage the order book or give order priority. I'm not sure what those things are. But as opposed to just having slightly different pricing schedules where it may be more advantageous or cost effective to post or take liquidity on one exchange versus another exchange.
Yeah, calling them exchanges may be a little generous these days. You're right. They're differing fee schedules pretty much at the end of the day. But you're right. It is a bit of a contentious issue. I don't think we've seen the last of it. I'm sure we'll probably get closer to 20 before we see 10 again, I would think. So maybe a lot more to go on that front. And another interesting area that's certainly, I'm sure, interesting for you guys. We always ask our audience before we come down here, what kind of topics should we discuss? What are you guys interested in? And certainly for a lot of the retail audience in particular, this time of year always, earnings season, we always get this question. And it is, hey, I can trade my stock on my Google, my Amazon, et cetera. I can open and close it in the day. I can open and close it in the after hours, no problem. I can't do that with my options on my Google, my options on my Apple, my options on my Amazon. So I like to take the pulse of everyone when I come down here about that topic of after hours options trading. Is that something that you're hearing from your clients? I mean, we are, so I'm assuming you guys are. And then B, what are your thoughts on that? Is that something you guys would like to see? You think we're maybe approaching that? Are we still a long way off? Or what are your thoughts on that topic in general?
So since, I think, 2003, TradeStation has supported futures. And since 2001, we've supported pre-market and after-hours trading on equities, and our futures trading being close to 24 hours a day. So we're a brokerage that welcomes trading outside of that normal 9:30 to 4 o'clock Eastern time window. We're equipped for it. Our technology is equipped for it. Our staffing is equipped for it. I think the challenge with it is if we are going to have after-hours trading with options, or even pre-market trading with options, there needs to be some sort of commitment of liquidity in those time frames. Because I don't think it does anyone any good if we extend trading hours or create an after-hours or a pre-market trading session, and the spreads are a mile wide, and the customer experience as far as fill quality is just not there. So I think that's kind of the challenge that the industry has as a whole, where the retail firms all need to support it, the exchanges need to support it, the liquidity providers need to support it, so that we can all ensure the success of a healthy kind of liquid marketplace in those timeframes as well.
It seems like there's a bit of a bifurcation in the space, whereas the retail-facing firms are certainly more in favor of it, shall we say, because they're hearing from it from their audiences, whereas the exchanges, the institutional firms, a little bit more reticent. They have to staff up, they have to handle it, they have to provide the liquidity you just spoke of, so a little bit more challenging from their perspective. I will say, though, we had John Davison, the CEO of OCC, on this morning, and he seemed pretty optimistic at the process. He saw that it would be a pretty easy overhaul to the technology, and the industry could be able to do it. So that made me happy to hear that the plumbing, the infrastructure is there to handle it if indeed someone ever decides to flip the trigger. Well, gentlemen, I'm glad we can get you on and kind of catch up on what's been going on TradeStation. But before we go, we are at a conference. People are making announcements, and sometimes we like to give our guests the opportunity to, maybe you want to give our audience a little bit of a hint, a little bit of a tease of what they can expect from you guys coming down the pike. If that's the case, now is the time. The floor is yours.
Sure. I think one thing that you can expect from us in 2019 is a continued investment in our options product and our options experience for our customers. That's something that is a top priority for us. Making things as easy and as simple as possible for our customers is something that's our focus. Other things too that are coming up in July, we have a 2-day options education event in Southern California. That'll be headlined by Larry McMillan and also Sarah Potter. And so education as far as options is something that we have a big focus on too. And events like that, help, continue to drive that goal too.
I like to hear that, because it seems like the onus of education has now definitely fallen on the brokerage firms. Most of the exchanges have kind of abdicated that responsibility to OIC. OIC does a great job, but they can't do all of the heavy lifting for the entire industry. So I'm glad to hear that firms like yours have a commitment to education and to continuing to spread the gospel of options out there. Well, gentlemen, I'm glad we can get you on. I'm glad we can have a chance to check in on TradeStation, and we'll look forward to seeing how all these different initiatives and functionality you mentioned, how all that unfolds in the marketplace in the coming months.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks a lot for having us.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/The Options Insider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.